Okay, good morning everyone. We have to start on time today. My name is Jose Carriquiri. I'm from the University of Baja California in Mexico. And today I will be hosting the session number 7, Regional Climatic Reconstructions, with the goal of filling the gaps. As you know, this is part of Focus 2, which seeks to achieve a better understanding of the paleoclimatic reconstructions of different regions that have not been very well documented. And the aim is to have better data, dated data, that may serve to feed better model simulations. And today's speakers will cover a wide range of environments, from the Arctic to the Antarctic, subtropics, and the temperate ecosystems. And so I give the word to Carlos LeQuesne from Chile, presenting an overview of the studies of tree ring records of South America during the last millennium.
Thank you very much. First of all, I will thank to Jose for his kind invitation, and also to Pages that invited me to be in this very interesting meeting. And I will talk, as Jose said, from the tree rings of South America. I am Carlos LeQuesne and come from the Universidad Austral de Chile and from Valdivia. I will focus my talk on the western flank of the continent, that is the part of the Cordillera de los Andes that is flanking the Pacific part of the continent. And I have I will focus on 4 geographic zones that yielded precipitation, stream flow, and as well as temperature reconstructions. In the last few weeks, Jose Boninsegna has published in the Paleo 3, maybe at the website you can visit it, a good review of all the stuff of tree rings in South America. So from the beginning of when the first dendrochronologist visited South America in 1949, there are many advances, and most of these advances, as you can see in this slide, was from the last decade under the umbrella of IAI initiatives. So I will talk more about this part of the continent here in the Andean Cordillera, where much of the tree ring work was done. So South America, as yesterday was talking about, the diagonal arid South American arid diagonal. Excuse me. Here, this part is very dry, and this part is very dry also. And here, the main forests are located in this very narrow strip of the continent. Yeah. Yeah. To put in the context the importance of our work during 2008. Chile has faced a very important drought that produced shortages in most part of the country. So our work, especially doing drought reconstructions, is very important for the stakeholders and decision makers. So not only the scientific part, and also the common public are interested in our results. Yeah. One of the species of very important, very new species is Polylepis tarapacana in the Altiplano. Here we can see the species growing in this plateau, high plateau of the Altiplano on 5,000 meters above the sea level in a very arid and cold environment. This species is very sensitive to ENSO because of the intrusion of the proximity of these woodlands from the tropics. Yeah, we can see here some of the sites in the Altiplano and the precipitation station nearby. And here, for example, the very good relationship between precipitation, summertime precipitation, and the growth of Polylepis tarapacana. The precipitation explains around 50% of the total variance in growth of this species. So using this species, we can have an outstanding proxy for reconstructing ENSO, for example, because ENSO in this part of the continent is very important. I mean, tropical forcings are very important here. Another, moving back to the further to the south, we have these long-lived trees, Austrocedrus chilensis here, very old. They can reach about 1,000 years, and this species was used for reconstructing drought in the Mediterranean part of the country, of here at this location here. Yeah. When Austrocedrus is sensitive to precipitation, to drought, and in this area, El Niño plays an important role because above precipitation is produced when El Niño takes place, and below precipitation when La Niña takes place. Some of these sites were visited earlier in 1974 by the Tree Ring Lab of Arizona, and we have updated some of them and included many new records from different sites, and as well as using deadwood for extending back this record. Here we can see one of the most reliable records of precipitation, Santiago de Chile, long and reliable, and so we used this record to reconstruct, to calibrate and verify and reconstruct then the precipitation to try to have as much as possible the long-term variability in precipitation. As we can see here, this function not good, I guess. Yeah, this species does a very good job in reconstructing dry conditions, not as well as wet conditions, because other limiting factors act, and the here. The reconstruction, the 700 reconstruction precipitation of Santiago de Chile, and we can see here in the past some very important multi-decadal droughts that takes place in the past. Here, near the present, pronounced secular trend of decreasing precipitation is shown also at the upper panel. If we decompose this record in different time circles, we can see that there is, for example, a secular trend here, decadal to interdecadal, interannual, and other time domains that explains different portions of the variance. The important things to show here is that the precipitation variability is non-stationary over time, and that the different time domains also plays different roles along the time. Another example, going further south, this is in the transition zone of the temperate rainforest and the Mediterranean zone that was in preparation by Duncan Christie, shows the relationship between instrumental precipitation and Palmer Drought Severity Index. So the observed and the reconstructed Palmer Drought Severity Index show that this species do an excellent job in reconstructing a past or a spatial drought in the region. And the potential for making field reconstruction of Palmer Drought Severity Index is very nice. Going further south here in the temperate rainforest, we have Antonio Laro and collaborators have produced 400 years reconstruction of stream flow, shown here in this slide, and we can see the pronounced multi-decadal variability of this series. And here, of course, the very pronounced also decline in the stream flow during the mid part of the last century. That is also seen in the precipitation records from the region. Here, because this is a region of in a transition region, we have the influence of both forcings, extratropical as well as tropical forcings. In this case, the Antarctic oscillations plays an important role in driving the summer fall stream flow, and during winter there is important the influence of SSTs in the tropical Pacific. Another example in the same region is Fitzroya cupressoides, a very old and long-lived species that can reach 3,000 years and more, and nowadays there are network that have 20 tree-ring chronologies that cover the last millennium here in this region. This species grows mainly in the upper part of the Cordillera. As another example for the same species and the potential of this species to build very long chronologies, multi-millennium. Millennial chronology is this composite chronology of both sides with very well replicated. Here are shown the quantity of samples used for building that, and this species is significantly and negatively correlated with summertime temperature. Lenga, or Nothofagus pumilio, has a very large distribution from the Mediterranean through the tip of the continent here, and the network of this species, this tree-line species, has 19 chronologies in this very broad section of the continent. Just to show you some example of the reconstruction made by this network, in southern Patagonia, we can see that these three chronologies show pronounced pronounced warming. Yeah, they show a warming in the last part of the century here in this particular area. Yeah. Another species, also a conifer. In this case, a conifer. Here at the northern part, and here and here northern part, and here the southern part. Pilgerodendron ubiferum can also. These trees have also around are very long-lived trees, and was. Recently, a network of 18 chronologists was built by Juan Carlos Aravena, and the experiments do it with different instrumental records and the growth of this species allowed the reconstruction of 40% of the variants in the instrumental record with some of these reconstructions. In this case, this is a cold and wet, very humid, hyper humid environment. Here, showing you the very steep and environmental gradient. Yeah, 5 minutes. Environmental gradient from very humid conditions here, just on the archipelago. At the Pacific through the eastern, and so you can see the expression of the diagonal arid, and 400 precipitation reconstruction made it by these chronologies as an example. Yeah, we have some challenges. And we have very extraordinary trees and reconstructions made in this part of the world, but we need to make more advantage in some fields. For example, using old samples like that here for extending back to the past the reconstructions, and also making new processing of these samples to try to get as much as possible the long-term variability of the natural climate variability, and of course making with these networks field reconstructions of drought and temperature and other things we must do in the future is to know better what are the forcing that underlies, that explain the growth of this species, and use them to understand better the climate system. Because in this region there are extratropical as well as tropical forcings explaining the growth of this species. And as I said first, our scientific production is very important to the policymakers and show the importance of this scientific work to make the good decisions to adapt to climate change. And finally, there is interest, very important that we can support the young scientists to the future to make more advances in this science, treating science in South America. And that was all.